and they're putting on a face, putting on a smile, but they're still doing it. And that's what makes them more successful, is that they're willing to step outside what feels safe. Because, one of the biggest addictions to the human condition is comfort. It's staying routine. It's what would feel safe, safety and comfort. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of growth when we're comfortable and safe. And we could stay the same way. And there's, one of the biggest things of regret, in life is not what mistakes someone makes. It's opportunities that were missed. They've done studies where they've interviewed people on their deathbed. And the biggest thing that really causes the most pain is not the mistakes they made or not the foolish decision they made. It's the opportunities that they missed, that they didn't take a chance to do that. They had the opportunity to do it, but they didn't do it. And so at this point, hopefully the message that I myself and a lot of other, self-help authors and gurus talk about is don't get at that phase yet. So there's a lot of different factors there that can happen.
How important do you consider faith to be in that component of dealing with success and failure and your comfort zone, and understanding that, hey, that thing that might be a quote unquote failure today is going to eventually work out in your favor?
Faith is vital. It is extremely vital. And, whether it's, and this could be a non-secular issue. It could be wherever you have faith in, even just faith in yourself. And having faith in and trust in yourself. Because that's what really faith is. Faith is a synonym for trust. And so you just have to have trust in yourself and trust in, other people. Yeah, and trust in the universe in a sense that, things it will work out in the end. And that's just the faith you have to do every day.
Yeah. What about what I like to call a post-game recap? So let me give you a little bit more information on that. So for me, one of the things I like to do is anytime I go through a failure of some kind, we talk about this is what went wrong and then eventually what went right, and look at the history of times that either there's been a business failure or a life failure, and you look at it in the moment as, oh my God, this is the worst thing to ever happen. And then 6 months down the road, you look at it and you connect the dots. You figure out, if this thing didn't happen that at the time I thought was terrible, would not have led me here, and look at all the good that's come of this. So for me, I make a routine of looking back and finding the good from all the bad. And personally, what it's helped me to do is when I'm sitting in a situation where there is a problem or something is wrong or something's bad, I've got a history to look back on that says, man, every time I've done this before, in 6 months from now, I'm going to look back at this and say, oh yeah, but all the good comes from this eventually. As it builds up that sort of expectation that this might suck now, but in the future, I'm going to appreciate it.
Yeah. This was the best thing that could have ever happened to you. And that's the whole thing too, is, some of our worst experiences are actually our best experiences, because we've grown and we've learned and we've adapted and become stronger. And, what stresses us now, 6 months from now, most of the time it's going to be non-existent. The stresses that we have at this moment, and I even tell some of those my clients or my students, is to write a journal. What are the things that you fear today or that you're stressing about at this moment? And then maybe a year from now, take out that journal. And most of it, I can guarantee you'll be laughing at, saying, oh, it wasn't a big deal. Or that's the past, or, it worked out. It worked itself out. Now temporarily, it may not be the outcome that you want or most desire, but it's still going to be a stepping stone. The popular saying, one door closes, another one opens. And that's so true. Whether, even if it's losing a job or, losing ending a relationship. Well, now that's opening yourself up for some greater things down the line. And just having that faith that something better will be there, but also working towards that.
Yeah. How important do you think it is to have a tribe or a community around you of people who can support you and give you a shoulder to lean on during that time?
It is vital. I'm a big, I listen to Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and all of those people, and they advocate that the peer group that you hang out with, the sum of the five people, you are the five people you hang out with. So your tribe is so important. Even in my book, when I work with actors, my book, I discuss in detail that the associations you keep, if you hang out with out of work bitter actors, you're going to become bitter too and out of work. But if you hang out with people that are more successful than you are, that are maybe slightly above your ability, that's going to get you to work harder, and that's going to propel you to the next level.